Look like Jules Brunner.
Hello.
Hey, everyone.
Hi.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome back to another episode of your favorite dynamic.
Is it their favorite? Is it?
They wouldn't have tuned in if it wasn't, right? It is your favorite show. It is your favorite show. Look at me. It's your favorite show. Look at the beer.
How do you say, like, you have duo and trio? How do you say, like, 5? Your favorite dynamic?
5.
Quad. That's a good.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Or 4 even.
Quad. No, wait.
No, that
Quad
sounds
is 4, right?
retarded. Your favorite dynamic, dynamic duo. You say dynamic trio. You
Dynamic
say,
trio.
Yeah.
And dynamic.
Well, maybe somebody can put this in the comments.
Well, quadruple would be 5 then, right?
If anybody
No,
knows,
quadruple is 4.
Quintuple.
Great.
Quintuple.
Quintuple.
Yeah.
Ali, you sound a little bit low, actually. Ali,
I do.
Your favorite quintuples. But Ali, who's behind you? Who's doing things there? Is somebody stealing your stuff? You don't notice it?
No, that's Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
Kyle
What's up, guys?
is
What's
So,
up?
Kyle.
input up.
What up, Kyle?
You guys did you have your input all the way up or just like halfway? Input
Mine is
volume.
like at the default.
Mine,
Just a
I
little
can
bit.
control the input volume. Am I sounding better?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah, baby. That's input volume control.
In case our audience is wondering, yeah, we are live and we know it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Kyle. He's my new tour manager.
Are you going on tour? What? Is there a tour somewhere?
There are shows happening in America, legal shows that I'm going to be embarking on soon with Kyle, and we're just settling in, trying to.
You know what you get yourself into there?
Yeah, you know what? If the malls are open, what's the difference?
No, I mean not
Is that the
because,
standard? That's the base standard?
yeah, the baseline. No, I mean with you, Ali, not with the virus. Getting in,
What do you mean?
yeah, what he gets himself into, like with touring with you.
Oh, Kyle. Yeah, we've done a lot of live streams together now, which helped him acclimate a bit to setting up the gear, and then we did Caprices together. That was the first show that we did together back in September, and we were both really nervous. It was like the first time
Dating someone.
first time DJing. No, like it was his first gig with me, and it was my first gig back. But it was all, during the pandemic, which everything was weird anyway. So for us, it was quite a big litmus test for how the gigs will be, I guess, in some respects. But yeah, it was, we didn't have any issues. I didn't have any issues entering, the USA yesterday. It was a weird travel experience, like it is everywhere right now. Traveling, just.
Did you still have to wear your mask through the whole flight?
Yeah, you got to wear the mask the whole flight. when I connected in Frankfurt Airport, and it was quite depressing because I guess the day before we left, or on Wednesday, the day we were flying here. I'm not sure if it's all airlines in the States, but United had required a negative COVID test before you could board the flight. And they had quite a few checks. They had one person asking you the questions, and then they put like a little sticker on your boarding pass. Then you had to queue up in another line and show them your PCR test, and then they put a different sticker. And then in Barcelona, before I got on the Lufthansa flight, they asked to see the COVID test as well. So this is all kind of, I think, setting the stage for an eventual vaccination passport that we're all going to carry. And before that, it's just going to be you uploading your negative COVID tests to the app. They scan it, they can see it. It just felt like all that was imminent. That was like something that they're working on, initiating. But, getting into the States, no problems, which is probably why it's so bad here. If you think about it,
Oh, it was like, no, how was it? Like, what do? You just go through customs like normal, or do they also do checks for your...
No temperature checks, no
check for your negative test or anything like that?
No, not when you landed. It was just, I was out in 5 minutes. I was off the plane and out in like 5-10 minutes.
Do you have global entry?
I have global entry, yeah. But
it's funny.
Kyle doesn't have global entry, and he got out even quicker than me. So it was empty. The airport is empty.
In 2019, I had to renew it just before 2020 and before all the COVID stuff came. And then just like 2 weeks ago, I got an email saying that I got approved for my for global entry for the next 5 years. I was like, oh, interesting, because I totally forgot about it because I haven't been traveling. So I have
but it's definitely worth having.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Especially for international. But I'm not going to be going internationally anywhere for a long time. So.
Yeah. I mean, like you have to compare my experience yesterday with, places like Australia, Canada, where you have a mandatory quarantine when you land. And I don't know which countries are doing what necessarily, but the ones that have managed to control the situation were the ones that closed their borders to everyone, even citizens. And whoever was landing there was immediately taken to like a special hotel to quarantine for 2 weeks. And then, you were in the clear. Because voluntary quarantine just doesn't work. And it's not like the virus has a passport. It's like, all right, we welcome American citizens to enter the country, but, Europeans can't. That makes no sense.
But
right?
aren't they blocking some international travel in like Germany, Chris, and Spain?
No.
I thought I saw something about that.
No, some certain countries are restricting their own travel. Like England is discussing that they shut down their borders.
I saw a headline. I mean, obviously, I only read headlines, but I saw a headline saying that Germany is going to restrict travel from like the UK. Like they
yeah. But I think it's the UK that restricts the travel from them.
Oh, okay.
But Ali, if I may, considering the times we're in, I may need to ask a critical question.
Yeah.
Although obviously your gigs are legal, how do you feel about that? Considering that we're actually right now in a pretty bad time when it comes to the virus.
I think I don't think the toll that this is having on everyone as far as like mentally, is being weighed in here,
Yeah, hold on, let me just chime in. It's just not you. Like, there's a lot of places open, and Space Miami is open.
Yeah.
There's an upcoming weekend with Dice and everything. It's like how is this happening in the US now? Is that
I mean,
the same in California? Is that in every state that everything just opens up again everywhere?
No.
How does it work?
Trying to understand it is just pointless. I think like it is what it is. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, I would prefer if there was like a strict lockdown. There were, the borders were closed until, it gets under control here. But like,
I think it's Florida's the only state that's open, right?
Texas too.
Oh,
I have shows in Texas this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. But the thing, they just announced the other day in California, the governor just said that he's going to allow outside dining and hair salons and stuff to open up again. And obviously there's people that are happy about it, especially the business owners, because okay, finally we can start making some money. And then there's other people saying well, it's too soon because the cases are really bad still. But also I'm like, we shut down the dining in the end of November, beginning of December, and we still had the crazy spikes. So I'm like, I don't think the outside dining.
Maybe it would have been even worse.
No,
but
the thing is,
it seems to me it's very political too. It's like the deep red right-wing states are open and the blue states are closed. Is that the case?
From what I understood in terms of California, I can't speak for any other states, but they use the amount of available beds in hospitals as some sort of barometer of whether the state is going to close down or not. So if the hospitals are jam packed with people and there's no extra beds and there's huge waiting times, then they shut down the city. As soon as the hospitals slow down and there's less people and there's more space or they've opened up even more space or outside tents, then they start letting go a little bit on the lockdown. And I think they're just trying to find a balance of a way to keep the economy running somehow and keep people in business. And also, try to maintain the level of people who are getting sick.
Yeah, because you can't just shut everything down for 2 years. You can't have restaurants and everything. How are we going to come out of this?
And just especially when the governments aren't helping, that's the big problem. It's
that is the big issue. I think if people were being, getting more stimulus checks or they were being funded money from the government, then of course, then everyone can sit back and take the time to let this pass over. But people are hungry and they're starving and their businesses are shutting down and they can't pay their payments and they've got to figure something out.
Yeah,
it's like they're trying to have it both ways. I mean, to get it under control, you have to adhere to the kind of measures that places like China and other places did, which for a lot of us, a lot of civilized Western nations seem kind of barbaric, barricading people in their homes and.
Well, you see it on TV, in the Netherlands, all they do is impose a curfew and there's riots on the street.
Yeah.
People are just not going to stand for that shit.
Yeah. And what happens if you're not able to have these shows happen, these legal shows, whatever, if they don't happen, then people are just going to have house parties. I can't tell you how many house parties there were in Barcelona, just on my street alone. It's just that's where they're saying.
I mean, we had this topic before. Rather do legal shows than illegal shows. And
it's just
shows
it's
are
going to push everything.
Controlled.
Yeah, exactly.
And not even shows, but I was hearing on the radio saying that so in California, for instance, they shut down the outside dining. So what people are doing are getting together at home, not necessarily, partying.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hey, I'm just going to have friends over. And that's how everything is spreading. Anyway.
That's the number one spreader, they said. It's people gathering at home, whether it's family or friends, who knows,
Yeah.
or house parties.
So the argument is that if you open up the outside dining, people will be less inclined to have people come over to the house and you can meet somewhere outside and have a meeting or dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that maybe works in California where it's warm, but in New York it doesn't.
The East Coast.
It's also interesting the fact that California has been having lockdowns. Florida is completely open, yet Florida has so many less cases than California does.
Yeah,
So weird.
That's super weird.
Maybe because it's warm there all the time. I don't know.
My friend who's a doctor in LA was talking to his medical friends in Florida and Texas and asking them why their cases are so much lower than California's when they're way more open everywhere. You know, everything.
I mean, I have friends that are in Florida that are showing videos at Space in Miami.
Oh my God, yeah.
Man, nobody wearing a mask inside. It's just like
the amount of videos from Tulum too. It's just
the Tulum videos are
dude,
crazy.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh, fantastic music as well.
That's horrible. I don't know what made me cringe more, was the dancing or the music,
You know,
or the fact that
when I saw the video, I thought it was kind of this boiler room, fake boiler room thing, you know, where you put a different type of music on top of it. Yeah, it first sounded like that to me, but then I realized, no, wait, he's really playing that.
There was one, I can't remember which DJ was playing, but it was like party all the time.
yeah,
that was Solomon.
I don't think that was Solomon.
No,
I hope not.
No, it was a
Because that
different
track
one,
was. Ugh.
But yeah,
It's like, aren't we beyond party all the time? Haven't we? Like, isn't that over? Is that somehow cool now to play something like that? Is that like everybody looks on the dance floor? Is this cool now because the DJ is cool, or is this like super uncool? Maybe people should make up their own minds at some point, you know, and stand there and just stand there is like, you know what, this is really fucking uncool.
I'm willing to submit to the idea that music is subjective until it comes to that track. I don't think that's subjective at all.
That's your red
track
line,
fucking
right?
sucks, man.
That's
your red line is party all the time. I think we all have a red line.
That's an Eddie Murphy song, right?
Imagine you're catching this virus listening to this music.
Have you guys ever like been on stage listening to like a friend of yours DJing? I mean, we won't name names or anything. And, you know, you're maybe in conversation with someone else and you're really grooving to what they're playing. And then all of a sudden they play something so questionable.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're just left wondering what compelled them. And then you look at them wondering if it was like a mistake, like they played the wrong ID or something. And you see them like going nuts. And it just completely changes how you view this person that was your friend. Like, has that ever happened to you guys?
I've had DJ friends that
what story is it? Like and they tell the story.
I don't want to name names, but I had a DJ friend that did that, and he immediately knew what he did, and he turned around. It was just like he just like shrugged his shoulders.
I just want to play football, David. That's all.
But everyone has their guilty pleasure track. You know what I mean? Like it's cheesy to everyone else, and you're just like this gets me going. You know. I'm sure you guys all have it. You're not all playing only cool tracks, dude. Come on.
No.
I was certainly surprised, David, when you played that Rebirth track from Jason Blakemore at Awakenings, was it? I was like, what? I actually liked that track when it first came out, but I applaud you for having the balls to play it now.
Don't you have that story where you played something and you thought this is going to be so cool now, and it's just completely backfires?
All the time.
I did that once in Cocorico in Italy. It's like 5,000 people, full on club, like sort of last half hour.
What track was it?
And I think I'm going to be playing Stereo MC's Lost in Music now.
Oh my God.
I don't know what I was drinking. I have
like
no
the
idea.
Original.
Of course, yeah. And I don't know if you guys know Lost in Music by Stereo MC. It's a fantastic track, but do not mix it in any techno set because it's like 8 BPM, and it's just this broken beat. And literally like 5,000 Italians were looking at me like. And then you see the people who are like in the beginning, they're like, yeah, huh. And then the track keeps going and it keeps going. And then you look at it, it goes for 4 minutes. And everybody's looking at each other. It's like, what? Is he just completely like fucking it up the whole night now? Everything erased.
It's like the longest 4 minutes of your life.
It was insane. I reverbed it out somehow.
This might be.
Don't you have a story like this?
Who, me?
Yeah. Or you? Or David? Mo? Tons?
Yeah, I'm sure it's happened to time. I want to say no, but I know it has at some point.
I think more when I was in Deep Dish, like I would do re-edits of like White Stripes and Coldplay,
but that worked, right?
Yeah, I would make sure I could like mix it. It always worked. But you know, Sharam oftentimes would play certain things that I remember he played, speaking of space, he played Bruce Springsteen, I'm on Fire, in the middle of the night at Space. And I to this day, I still don't understand where that came from.
That's similar
and
to
why it
Rusty
happened.
music. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like the longest, like, I don't know how long that song is, the longest 4 or 5 minutes of my life. But you know, you can't hide. There's nowhere to hide. So,
Nope.
well, this might be a good time to bring in our guest today,
Lauren. She probably has
Lauren Flax. If you're there, come on in
And tell us the story.
tell
of
us
your track.
a good story of playing something really questionable.
You're gonna have to let me think about it because I know there's a bunch in there, but I'm like literally like thinking about it when you started talking about it. And
But you are quite I checked your CV. You're quite an eclectic artist. You're quite.
I am, yeah. I'm all over the place.
And how did that start? What was the initial, you know, style of music that made you want to pursue a career?
Well, first off, let me cheers you guys.
Okay, yeah.
Cheers and welcome to the show, Lauren.
Cheers,
Nice
guys.
to
Is
have you.
is that a non-alcoholic stout?
Yes, 0.0
I've
groovy.
never had a stout non-alcoholic. I'm curious about how that is.
Yeah.
It's good.
Use Lauren 10 and get a discount code 10% off.
All right.
Cheers.
So wait, like I gotta say, when I was in Barcelona, it was more manageable drinking at 9 p.m. But now I'm back to drinking at 3 p.m. And you guys have always been
by 12.
by noon. Lauren, how does it? Do you drink in the afternoon usually? Like, are you?
You know, I was an afternoon drinker for sure. I mean, I'm like coming up on 4 years sober, to be honest.
Oh shit!
But like,
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. You know, I mean, I've gone through crazy stages of being a heavy alcoholic, partier, but like it's not really why I quit. But like always, I was just like a shitty Mexican beer drinking. I like drinking it all day long, you know, never get too out of control. I think I probably would, but yeah, now I don't have to feel guilty when I have a shower beer in the morning, you know. Sometimes you just gotta take a shower with a beer.
You just gotta love the shitty Mexican beer though.
Yeah, always.
But David, did I just see a Coachella beer?
Yeah, it was early. Like, so remember when I was in the desert last week? I went to a store and there's a Coachella brewery that I picked up. So Coachella Valley Brewing.
I actually want to know, is that a tombstone behind you that says "Be right back"?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
That's awesome.
I love that.
So getting back to what we were talking about, you know, and you being so varied in your you know productions and remixes and things like that with the artists that you work with, like, was there anything like what chances, how far do you go when you're DJing, like, for chances? And
I mean,
do you care people, like, how they'll respond to it? Are you playing for yourself, or are you primarily focused on entertaining the crowd?
I'm playing for myself.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be totally real, if people aren't, if the crowd isn't going to like it, they're not going to like it. Then the people on the floor they're my people. I mean, I used to try to cater. I mean, shit. I don't know. I started playing in 95. So, I mean, I've gone through all the fucking, but now I'm just to the point, like, if I'm here and I'm getting booked, they want my vibe.
Yeah.
They're
coming to see you and hear you. Like, so.
Exactly. If it doesn't work, then it, you know, whatever, it doesn't work out. But I definitely like being from Detroit, living in Chicago as well. Like, and like the whole house versus techno bullshit. I'm always playing for sure house and techno in my sets. Always the Midwest flavor, and also electro. And I feel like the last 3 or 4 years, a lot of good electros coming out, like proper electro.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I've been on a big electro kick lately.
Yeah, I mean, there's something I was listening to the other day from Stingray and Steffi that's mind blowing. It's like 100.
Same record.
It's like 150 BPM or something. It's really fast, but the production is insane.
Wow, I have to check
I heard that same record just a few days ago.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see them together, actually.
Yeah, that's an interesting combo. I like that.
So Lauren, like most people being from Detroit would kind of wear that as like a musical badge of honor. But you relocated to Brooklyn. You said you lived in Chicago for a bit, but then you relocated to Brooklyn, where you've been a long time resident, right?
2002. Well, I was in Manhattan for about 4 years, but I've been in New York City since 2002. I left Detroit in 99. Like, as soon as I turned 21, I was like, I want to live in a city that's like a functioning city, you know? So that's why I moved to Chicago. And I'll just never forget, like, hailing a cab for the first time. Like, it was like that. I was like, this is insane that I can fucking do this.
Yeah.
And 2.5 years was enough.
Can you tell us a little bit about the evolution of New York when you were living there in these times?
Because you said 2002, so you were there shortly after 9/11 then.
I was supposed to move like in September of 2001.
Oh, wow.
And then that happened, 9/11 happened. And
so you first lived in Manhattan and then moved over to Brooklyn. How was the evolution of the city and the scene in that time? A little bit.
You know, I think like I was just partying so much that I don't think I was too in touch with, you know, it was actually kind of frustrating when I first moved to New York, because there was like jukebox DJs, you know, that was really new for me. Like DJs that didn't match beats, or if they did, it was terrible. I'm like coming from a town where like 2 towns where you have to know what you're fucking doing. Yeah. So it was really frustrating for me in the beginning to start playing around the city and like get shitty time slots to these jukebox DJs. And I'm just like, what is happening? So it was frustrating for a long time. But also I feel like the aughts, we had Love and we had APT and some spots, but it's not like it is today. Well, pre-COVID today with, you know, Elsewhere and Good Room and Nowadays and Unter and, you know, the Lady Fag parties and just like, you know, Carrie Nation. There's just like so much happening above and below ground. So
but more in Brooklyn, not so much in Manhattan, right?
Mostly in Brooklyn. Yeah. Brooklyn like Brooklyn, Queens. Like Queens is right here too, off the same line. Like I could go across the street. Like I'm in Queens now, but if I go across the street, I'm in Brooklyn. So
wow.
But yeah.
What was it like? What was it like growing up in Detroit? And you said you started DJing in '95. I mean, that's a pretty good time to grow up in Detroit, I think.
Yeah, because a lot of people view Detroit the same way, as far as like the musical heritage and stuff, the same way that they view Berlin. Yeah. But there's very few people that will move to Detroit to establish their music career and to find that, you know, to tap into that well of inspiration. Yet everyone seems to love going to Berlin. Like, yeah, I mean, there's obvious differences, but
yeah, I mean, Detroit still, I can't say is a super functioning city. Yeah. You have to have a car. There's only a couple clubs, you know, there's, you know, it's just, but you know, it is intrinsically connected with Berlin. And it might actually be a good time to move to Detroit, because, you know, you can still afford, you know, it's cheap to buy a house there, and things are starting to come back. Certain neighborhoods are starting to expand.
Yeah, it seems like downtown area has really, really expanded quite a bit. I mean, I went to Detroit for the first time for Movement in 2001 for the very first year, I think. And I've been there every single year, and just seeing how the city has grown itself over the time is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, the casinos went in early, I think like late 90s, which, by the way, I did go gambling with ICP once. I don't want you to
Insane Clown Posse ICP?
Yes.
Wow.
Damn. Yes, claim to fame. I did go there. I went there with no money. He gave me one of the guys gave me a $5 chip. I ended up making like $250 and just splitting.
Oh,
wow. What'd you play?
I honestly don't even remember. I think it was blackjack, and I'm sure I was lucky. But
wait, how did this meeting happen? They just happen to be there, or you know them?
No, they were working with a friend of mine who's a singer. So the 3 of us went to gamble or whatever. I think I wanted to fuck her. In all honesty.
Could we consider you a juggalo then, I guess, at this point?
You know, I've really come to respect juggalos, though. You know what I mean? Right. they found their people. They don't want to, they are sick of being picked on. They found their crew and they protect one another. And like, I'm all for juggalos, man.
All right.
Yeah.
But that seems like it's only a Midwest thing, right? Because I've never seen a juggalo out here ever.
I would be surprised. I've never seen a juggalo. I don't know.
We got cholos, man. We don't need juggalos.
So Lauren, did you moved alone or with a friend to New York? Because New York is such a.
I moved alone. I moved from Chicago to New York beginning of 2002, but I had already had friends because like message boards were starting to be all the rage.
Yeah.
So I had like my core set of friends in New York already, and like I actually moved to close to Red Hook Carroll Gardens for like 6 months, and then I got my own apartment in Manhattan with a friend. And was there for 4 years when like Lower Manhattan, Lower East Side. So it was like super hopping, crazy party 24/7.
Yeah.
It worked constantly. I mean, I was working in Times Square. I was working at the Sam Ash selling pro audio gear. It was the worst job, most soul-sucking fucking job of my life. Then Apple opened up a store in Soho, and I think it was their first retail store. And it was when Apple just bought eMagic. And I
remember that
for a long time. Yeah. So you probably still have a dongle hanging out somewhere.
I got one in a cup somewhere around here. Somewhere.
Yeah.
I used to go to that Apple location.
Yeah. So I basically stocked the Apple store until they hired me. And I was like, look, and I can teach Logic in your theater. And I helped them write the class. And like, I was like, here's how you make your guitar sound like orchestra, like a fucking USB situation. So like I did that. Then I quit my job in 2007 to just do music full time. And
so what came first for you? Was it making music, or were you attracted to like DJ culture, or did it just go hand in hand from the very beginning?
Well, to be perfectly honest, like I started playing the drums in the 5th grade. When I left Detroit, we moved to the suburbs, my family. That's when I met one of my best friends, and her dad was a drum teacher. So he had like an electronic drum kit and a regular drum kit. So I became obsessed with the drums. So I was playing the drums for years at that point. And I honestly think that's what taught me timing with DJing and why I kind of picked it up so quickly. And playing guitar. And I was like learning how to play finger picking guitar with Jewel, like fucking Who Will Save Your Soul and shit.
Yeah.
Sunny Day Real Estate.
Yeah, I think I did have some real estate tablature book, by the way.
Sorry, I just plugged that out of like thin air for some reason.
You really did. That's so random. And now that guy is like a Jesus freak or something. But yeah, so I mean, it was mostly playing instruments and writing music. That was always the most important thing to me. Yeah. And then everyone I knew started DJing, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. And then, like one day, I just like sat down and tried it, and I just clicked. I was like, I get this now. And then like. Mm-hmm. 3 months later, it was my first gig at Motor. Did you guys ever play Motor back in the day?
Yeah.
I never played there, but
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first gig, and then I started to be a resident there on Tuesdays with Servito, Plazleco, and Jason Kendig.
Nice.
So they were in the side room, which was actually the main room, playing all the stuff they play today, just the best house and techno. And then I was a jungle DJ. Like I only played jungle music back then. So I was playing jungle in the other room. And so I mean,
was the jungle because of you were a drummer? Was that the attraction to it?
I'm not sure, because I always collected house, techno, jungle, electro. But I was so serious about jungle. I loved the amen break. I loved all the different spazzy snares. I never I played some of the like wah 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 wah, like some of that shit.
I was gonna ask what styles, because there's so many styles within drum and bass. There's like the Fabio, and, like, the jazzier stuff. Then there's like the Ed Russian optical stuff. Then there's like the Bookham ambient kind of thing, and the metalheads. So
I was more into like really crazy pitch snare, reggae, raga, really crazy jungle. And like I played a jungle set at the first DEMF in 2000, and that was like some footage just surfaced of that.
Yeah, you posted something recently, right?
Yeah, someone posted like a little 2-minute snippet from there. Like my parents, that's the only time my parents have ever seen me DJ. Was there.
Jungle.
a jungle set. And I had the VHS tapes of the whole thing, and then I lost them. Such a bummer.
Sad.
Were you
So
playing the underground stage?
No, I was playing what would technically be the pyramid stage.
Okay.
It was next to the water.
All right.
And were you ever in bands? Did you form any bands in those early years before you made the jump to DJing?
Well, no, not really. I mean, I didn't start a band until like 2008 or 2009 with Creep. I don't know if you've heard any of that. It was more trip hop.
Well, my agent today told me that you guys were on my agency for a couple of years. I think Supreet was your agent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm one of the founders of the Bullet Agency, and Ryan, I was just talking to him randomly today. He's like, "Oh, you got Lauren? Tell her I said hello," because she was on our booking agency with Creep for a couple of years. I don't know how that went. Supreet's no longer with us, so I can only imagine it. It didn't go so well, but
well, I mean, I had tale as old as time. Shitty management situation.
That's what he said to ask you about management.
Wow.
And your thoughts on manage. I mean, because we've had managers. How many managers have we had on the show, guys? Just Dean?
But he was probably worth like 10 managers.
Yeah, we're probably going to have more. Yeah, so what sort of cautionary tale could you give to any new artist looking for a manager and thinking by getting a manager, that's their ticket to the big leagues?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the type of person that I trust and love right away. And it bit me more than once, unfortunately. And I can just say that we settled shit out of court. I don't want to get into specifics of anything. Yeah. But I will say this: MK is currently suing them.
Oh my God! It's Marcy Weber. It's MCT. Okay, no, say no more.
So, we don't have any secrets here.
Yeah, I can say it. You don't have to say it.
It's a whole thing, so I can't really. I don't even think I can't legally talk about it anymore because since we.
Hey, we all have our legal things with our former managers.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage.
I can tell some stories.
It's a rite of passage at this point.
Yeah, so. Chris has got a really big story, but he's not.
My former manager is now selling hygienic toilet paper rolls.
Huh.
I learned today, but well, no, we were at a different topic, were we?
I got an ongoing legal battle with David, but we're going to settle it on the streets.
I want to see that now.
So, Lauren, did your
over the top?
We can skim over the whole management thing, but like, did your experience with this particular manager, did it turn you off from management in general, or did you just find fault in this one particular person that you were working with? Like if you're sitting across the table at dinner with some new artist who's like, yeah, I'm looking for a manager, I need to find a manager, like what would you tell that person?
I mean, for me personally, it's like finding a family member. I mean, the most basic advice you can give, which we can all give, which I should have taken, was, have your contracts looked over, and no matter how much you love or know somebody, don't just give them the benefit of the doubt. Unfortunately, perpetuity is the worst word ever.
And do not let him manage or her manage your money.
Yeah. And I think it's hard. It's like, I don't personally want a manager. But if a time, I like to, right now I'm in a position where I can just, because I can't travel, we can't do anything, I can just sit and write and focus, which is really good. But when this is over, I'm going to have to jump back in, and I have, Michelle from the bunker who does my bookings, but at some point I probably will need to build a little bit more of a team again, because I just want to do the creative. I don't want to fucking deal with all the fucking bureaucratic shit.
Yeah,
of course.
Like, I want to do what I love to do and have other people who are really good at their shit. So, but to me, at least now, everything that I went through with ex-managers and all that shit, like, my bullshit meter is fucking like so precise. Like, you cannot get close to me. Yeah. Like, I get it now. So,
the unfortunate thing is, like, sometimes the best way to have such a finely honed bullshit meter is by going through the shit, you know, like
it's
like
important.
you got to get stung. And once you're stung, and maybe some of us are stung worse than others in various situations, you'll never forget how that feels. And it makes you a better business person, and it makes you more aware of, because, you know, artists are quite vulnerable. Like if somebody is really into us, you know, we're super flattered, and it's very easy to kind of open.
Kyle, are you listening in the back there?
The doors. No, he's not a manager. He's just a tour man. He's harmless.
Full support, probably always.
I would leave.
But you know, it's unfortunately, you know, you sometimes you just have to make. Hopefully, it's not like a bad enough mistake that you can't keep moving forward. But
no, for sure. And if anything, now I feel like the energy I'm putting out, I'm pulling people close to me that are like-minded people. Like honestly, sitting in this room with you guys, like none of y'all are type A motherfuckers to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're people. No.
We have our moments.
At least I'm not scared of any of you. You know what I mean? I think that I could sit and hang and chill with all of you and feel comfortable. Like I don't feel like I'm competing or any like. So
definitely been on the B side. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of type A DJs out there. Trust me, I know.
Just want to play ball, Jerry.
It's exhausting being around people like that, and just I need to be around people that are nourishing and supportive and kind. When the light is shining bright on you, they're all around. Everybody's around, and when the light goes away, they flock. And I've had my heart broken, and I'm closed. Like I'm more closed, which is probably not a good thing. But I think the ones
you had your heart broken by a DJ.
No, just by like people, you know what I mean? Like when you're in the spotlight, like with Creep and all these other things, you know, it's like they want to be around you, but like if the spotlight's gone, you know, you see people kind of flutter, and it's like, no, man, I'm like a fucking ride or die bitch. Like if I love you, I'm gonna love you forever. Like even if we don't talk for 10 years, if you need some shit, I'm there. I'm fucking there. No questions asked. I'll bring the shovel.
I could feel that for sure.
Has the current situation, like over the last year, has it exposed certain things with some of the friendships that you've had? Like, have you had to cut certain friends off, or have certain friends shown their true colors?
Luckily, like I think the people I'm closest with have like shined through in being on the right side of history with all of this. With showing up for the community and supporting and trying to keep people safe. If somebody needs help, we're going to try to help. And that feels good. There are some people that slip and make some mistakes, but I feel like we also need to forgive in this time. Like, man, some people are just really desperate.
Yeah.
Desperate to make money. But unfortunately, a lot of the people that are DJing, at least in New York, in like America, that are just doing it all the time or doing it for clout, like because they're finally getting the opportunity. And then there's other people that don't need the money that are doing these gigs. Like, no, just chill. We're almost through this shit. Like let's try to keep each other safe. The government they never wanted to protect us. It's always
absolutely
that matters most. So
absolutely,
we have to use our own conscience before doing any sort of performing, you know?
Yeah. And what's it been like living in New York, in such a densely populated city during the pandemic, and seeing the effects that it's had on one of the greatest cities, if not the greatest city in the world? You know.
No. Well, I mean, I feel like we're like winter is pretty desolate right now. I'm hoping, like, I'm not hearing of clubs that are the most important clubs shutting down. I think that I'm hoping now with this stimulus package and the new Save Our Stages was on the last stimulus package, went through, that hopefully things are going to actually pull through. I really think that's going to happen.
What are the most important clubs in New York right now?
I feel like my favorite clubs are Good Room, Elsewhere nowadays, Bossa Nova. I'm not sure, like for certain that they're all going to pull through. But Cuomo did just pass a thing where there's going to be a lot of performance outside in the streets this summer, like legal performances. So it's going to be the most fucking lit summer in New York City ever. If you just
I think everywhere too. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
as far as outdoor events.
like we tested it last year. I mean, we were just protesting every fucking day, and everybody is wearing their masks at protests, everyone. And people are handing out masks, handing out sanitizer. We need to take that same fucking mentality and put it to these outdoor venues. If you're going to have a drink, you need to be in a specific area, be safe about it. But if you're going to be in the thick of it, wear a mask and let's fucking throw down, man. Like, I'm just like, I want to get in the streets. I think it's going to be such a crazy summer.
Yeah, that kind of event I played in the summer together with Radio Slave, Matt, who's not with us today, by the way. Greetings, Matt. He's going to be back with us next week. And it was exactly like what you said, everybody's just wearing masks. In a certain area, you take your drinks. In another area, you can stay with a certain amount of friends. And everyone is just wearing masks everywhere. But like, it worked really well. It worked really well. It was just a normal party.
I'm sure in general it'll really work, but the fear is like when people start drinking is like that's when they stop caring, and then they're just gonna be like fuck this and just gonna
1,000%.
That's where
totally.
That's where it's gonna be hard to control people.
I'm just hoping that like we can police each other, and I hate to use the word police, but if we can just like look out for each other and just be like, hey man, put your mask on, like if we could just start doing that a little bit better, because we certainly don't want to fucking deal with the authorities and getting them involved in any way, shape or form, at least in America. But
Lauren, I'm curious to get your thoughts since you've been living in New York for so many years. Obviously, I was making regular pilgrimages to New York from the late 80s, early 90s, going to Sound Factory Bar and Shelter. Later on, when I started making music, I started to play all these revered clubs. So club culture in New York was always something that I felt inspired, kind of paved the way for club culture around the world. Mm-hmm. And over the years, you've seen the closure of Cielo, Output most recently. It seems like festival culture and big events have replaced the clubbing kind of experience for a lot of people. And you've been living in New York during all this time. So what are your thoughts, from what you've seen and having lived through it and seeing, obviously there's some clubs that you just named that I'm not familiar with. But like, how do you feel about clubs in general, specifically in the New York area right now, and how they've been impacted by festival culture?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think pre-COVID, I think that our club culture is strong as hell, crazy. I mean, elsewhere is a pretty massive club. Mm-hmm. It was hard that Output had to shut down, and then there was Verboten before that across the street.
Yeah. Is Analog still around?
I think Analog. Okay, maybe it's called something else now, but the Analog sound system that was in there. That there was a break from the guy that owned the whole Analog.
I think it was Shorty. Shorty was doing the sound because I played Analog once.
And all of that is it nowadays.
Oh.
So that's why nowadays is like your small venue that is fucking pristine sound.
Yeah, that's Shorty's sound system because he's really, really.
I mean, it's just they have all them hanging. The tweeters hanging from the ceiling. Everything is just really good. So. Yeah.
Why do you think there was this shift? Because obviously, when people started to save their money in favor of going to like the Avant-Gardener events and all these other big warehouses, and stop going to clubs, like what do you think? Why do you think that was? Why was that more appealing than going to a club and hearing like one really good DJ play an open to close set?
It's just all big names.
Yeah, I think it's more capitalism.
Yeah.
But I think that's why maybe some of these clubs are like Good Room, which isn't a massive club either, but it's essential. It's an essential club here.
It's a nice space. I love it.
Yep. And and wonderful fucking sound system. And both the Good Room and the Bad Room is the smaller room. Mm-hmm. And you have wild ass parties in there. I mean, I think, because of EDM and you're gonna do the Avant-Gardeners in these big places, and that's fine because give me my Good Room. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna pack that place and we're gonna have a great time. So maybe it just kind of shifted around.
Yeah.
because those people aren't going to be coming to our club nights.
Yeah.
They're not going to come to see me DJ, certainly. But, you have Bunker doing events, and then, and then you have like Horse Meat Disco coming and taking over all of Elsewhere. And so I don't know. I don't think I'm supposed to have therapy. I canceled therapy to do this with you guys.
Thank you. Cheers.
We are
You're very
therapy here.
welcome.
This is therapy.
This is my therapy.
This is
Yeah,
therapy.
exactly.
This has been our therapy since we started, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so awesome. It's
I just keep hearing clubs. It just, guys, do you remember that feeling walking into that club and the music gets louder and the
Yeah.
bass comes?
Yeah.
yeah.
It used to be accompanied with anxiety with me, but
I remember playing Tunnel and Sound Factory and Twilo and
Just walking
was
up
the other-
the stairs to go to Panorama Bar if you like just arrived and you're like walking up those like concrete staircase to get up, and it's just, it is like anxiety coming on.
Yeah.
And I used to have to just slam drinks before like I could settle in, but
Yeah, I was gonna ask what your pre-gig ritual is. Like some DJs like to sleep and show up stone cold sober, and that's okay. Other DJs like me, I need to go to dinner and like with the promoters and shoot the shit and drink and kind of acclimate to where I am, and then kind of go straight to the venue with a buzz. Like I can't go to the hotel. Like I'd rather go to the venue early and listen to the DJ before me, like the whole set, then go back to the hotel and chill by myself,
I think I was more like that also when I was actually drinking real alcohol and partaking. But now that I've cut that out and I understand that my own comfort level might be like, I can't be in a huge crowd for long periods, or if like they don't have a place for me to chill. Like I do want to hear the opening DJ, the person before, and I certainly will stay afterwards because I'll be in the vibe. But I'll oftentimes just be in the hotel by myself, getting in the zone, preparing for the night, and then I'm happy to just show up and fucking go on and throw down.
Yeah.
But like if you were to travel from New York and land straight in Europe, for instance, are you still showing up to the party early, or are you sleeping? Because I'm
probably sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just,
because
like,
I don't really take drugs either. I mean, like I don't like, I'll take acid. I like taking acid, but I'm not gonna just be like, oh, let me just like buy acid and like yeah.
just a steady dose.
Yeah, right. So I have to take a much more like business-like look at it for me.
Yeah,
and,
of
like,
course.
Were you doing?
Ali, you missed the drug stories now.
Oh man. Were you doing many tours in Europe, or were you playing a lot, mostly in the US before?
I think in like 2019 was a lot of US and South America. Before that, it was a lot of Europe. It was more Europe. It feels like my sound is being more accepted in America, and I'm able to travel around here more, which is really good. But I also,
awesome.
Berlin is my second home. I've been there for summers for over a decade, and I haven't obviously been there. So in a long time. So it's, but it's also kind of like reconnected me to New York City. Yeah. Like I'm fucking here. Like we fought all last year for, Black Lives Matter, and we've just like, we're fighting everything. And I just feel so fucking connected to this city that I can't imagine.
Have you rediscovered your area? Have you done a lot of walks and stuff?
Totally. Walking, like I was walking like 6 miles a day.
Yeah.
I can't just sit at home.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people in New York and LA that I talk to that have stayed are staunchly defending the city. A lot of people have this impression that like because of COVID, there's a mass exodus out of these major cities, and you really should venture out and try to find some open spaces. But the others that have stayed are, not only defending the city and how incredible it is, how diverse it is, but it's beauty even during this difficult time.
Yeah, for real. I mean, like we had Hurricane Sandy rip us apart.
Yeah,
it ripped the Rockaways apart, and we fucking were out there. We were pulling furniture out of people's homes. We were helping people I was just following what other people were set up. I was just helping out, but it was like, that's what New York does. And that's what all these cities do. It's like when shit goes down, you fucking get it together and you help each other. And then you just become like this community again, like it happened during Sandy and it's happening now, you know?
That's the word, community. You know, there's
Yeah.
a major sense of community, a renewed sense of community.
But would you say that also happens in Manhattan, or is Manhattan just closing down and everything's for rent and just quiet down?
Manhattan, it seems like, I mean, it's cheaper to live in Manhattan now than it is Brooklyn.
What? That's so crazy.
I know. I mean, especially Chinatown. I would actually live in Chinatown probably, but I just moved. I just had to move end of last year, and now I'm like, I'm not moving for a long time. So I feel very happy where I am.
Moving sucks. Moving's a pain in the ass, says everyone.
Yep.
The same's happening in LA. Like downtown, it's rent's getting cheaper down there. People are bouncing, they're leaving, you know, and it's kind of I don't know if it's a good thing or not, because like downtown used to be kind of coming up and popping, like a lot of bars and everything. Now it's, you know, it's everyone's leaving and there's no one's hanging out there anymore.
There's only tents everywhere.
Well, the thing about downtown LA is for decades it's always been kind of abandoned and empty.
Mhm.
And when this kind of new wave of people rebuilding the downtown area, new apartments, new sky rises, it kind of brings in the residents tend to be kind of more like people who are in and out and transportable of what's trendy at the moment. So as soon as it doesn't serve them anymore, they're the first to leave, you know?
Just gonna
Whereas,
say
but you know, as soon as when you're start talking about like locals, LA people who are like, this is their home, they usually root down where they are and they never leave, you know?
that's what it feels like. A lot of the bottle service motherfuckers, they're gone. They're the first
Yeah.
people in New York
They're the
City.
first ones who are out.
Yep. So this
They're all in Miami now, right?
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's only apparent that there is no sense of community with people like that as well. You know, it's a very self-serving kind of thing.
Like when you think of more rich people, a lot of them left to like Austin in Texas because there's like no income tax there and it's like a bit more open. So you hear about, especially like comedians, you hear comedians moving to Austin, and even, what Tesla's moving to.
Joe Rogan moved to Austin.
Yeah.
But I heard Austin is an awesome town.
It's actually a really nice. It's pretty
yeah.
cool
Every
city.
time I've been here was.
Have you guys been for South by Southwest? It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I have been.
Very liberal city somehow.
The vibe, yeah, and great
Like
barbecue.
what Berlin is to Germany, you know, like Austin is to Texas.
Right.
You know?
But
Which
you know,
one?
some people.
I didn't get that.
It's like what Berlin is to Germany,
Oh, yeah.
what Austin is to Texas.
That's
was
probably a good analogy. Yeah.
I was hearing actually that even a lot of the tech industry in San Francisco is starting to move to Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of people are moving to Vegas, and like I played in Vegas just shortly before the pandemic began, and when I went down there, they were all telling me like, dude, so many people are moving here from San Francisco and LA, and they're like dying to find a techno scene because they're used to it back in SF and LA, and they don't have it here in Vegas. But it's because, you know, companies like Snapchat or all these kind of tech industries are finding it cheaper to actually run their businesses out of Las Vegas than it is to do it out of San Francisco.
Where'd you play in Vegas? That Techno Taco Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys played
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, we have several times. You played there one time too, didn't you?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I think when Richie and I did the pop-up events during BPM Festival in Playa del Carmen, everybody started to coin that techno tacos kind of thing, which was quite funny. There's videos of us like eating tacos in the middle of a back-to-back set. It was really funny.
I mean, you have to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just the tacos are so good.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the place that I played at for that show. Mo went. I remember we actually made a trip out of it because it was on a Tuesday, and we're like, well, what else is there to do?
Yeah, it's the same spot that they do it every single time.
Is it?
It's an old town Vegas.
Old
Like,
Town, yeah.
yeah.
But I was pleasantly surprised. It was like it's a Tuesday night, and just like people are out there partying until 5 in the morning. Like, okay.
And is that currently running?
I have no idea, honestly.
I think they are still running because they're still going on till today. I think it's still happening.
Lauren, your first from your CV, you've done so much. Your first piece of music, was it the La Tigre remix in
Yeah,
2000?
I just found the contract I signed for that remix yesterday when I was looking through all these rave photos.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, it's so random.
And was that the first time that you had something official kind of released by you? And a remix came before like an original production?
Yeah.
And how did that happen? Because I guess back then maybe you're known on the DJ circuit, but you're a relative unknown in terms of
Totally unknown, really.
So how did that happen? And did that lead to consistent work? I mean, from the looks of it, it seems like.
Well, do you guys know who Reed Speed is?
Yeah,
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, one of my homegirls, long time. So basically, La Tigre reached out to her to do a remix. And she was like, she did a remix for them. And then she secretly sent me the stems in Chicago. She's like, you need to just do this and send it to them.
Yeah.
So I basically did that. I did one remix. It was more of a techno-y one. I overnighted it in the mail on a CD. And then I did the second one, which was the Flax That Ass remix, which it was my AIM name at the time.
Flax That Ass.
Flax That Ass.
You mean AIM as in AOL chat?
That's correct.
I think mine was Doc Feet or something like that.
I had some good ones. Bang My Goat Ass was one of them.
I can't beat that shit.
Yeah, no.
I like Flax That Ass though.
Flax That Ass. So yeah, I sent them the mix, and will never forget. I was like praying, like, please let them do this. And then I got a voice or a message on my answering machine when I had an answering machine at the time from Johanna saying they were going to pick up the remix, and it was just like, it was amazing. And then basically I moved to New York, and they came to Sam Ash. Like, we hadn't met or anything. They came to Sam Ash to buy lighting gear. And I was like, you guys, hey, I'm Lauren Flax. I remixed you. Da, da, da. And they're like, hey, da, 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 oh my God. Because they're like the sweetest fucking people on the planet. And then I was like, yeah, they were like, how is it working here? I'm like, I'm miserable. Da, 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 this sucks. And they were like, well, quit and just come do lighting for us on tour. And I totally chickened out. I know, I chickened out. I didn't do it. I don't think I could have handled it probably at the time. But like emotionally, like my own mental state. Yeah. But yeah, so that's basically how I met them. And then JD is currently one of my best friends. So it was just really, it did open up and put my name on some things, but it didn't really, I was still working full time for years after that, just DJing wherever I could. But nothing travel wise or anything like that until like I wrote You've Changed, which I think kind of helped up with Sia, the song I did with Sia in like 2007. Sia,
like the big Sia.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I remember, like, obviously I heard of Sia. I heard some of the music before, but I was doing, I think it was the year, I don't know if it was the year that I was doing my live show. I think it might've been, but I was walking across the main stage at Coachella with some friends and Sia was on and we couldn't believe how incredible the performance was and how every single person on that field that we walked by was eyes closed, like singing every lyric to every song. And the songs were so beautiful. I get goosebumps thinking about it now that we just stopped. I can't remember who we were going to see, but we just stayed for the whole set. And then I wrote this long thing on my Instagram about it. A lot of people were surprised that I was waxing poetic about a Sia performance, but it was, transformative. It was like really, really emotional. And that's what you want to me, it didn't matter that it wasn't like techno or whatever, style of music I'm known for. It was like the message that it carried with it, like what music could represent, musical performance.
I mean, she's just
was with transcended genre, transcended, everything. So yeah,
she's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Guess I gotta look this up.
Yeah. And did you know at that time what kind of a musical statement you wanted to make, or were you still kind of experimenting in the studio with the Lauren Flax That Acid?
Flax That Acid.
Have you ever used that name, Flax That Acid, or no?
No, I'm using that. Thank you.
ASSID. It's got to be ASSID.
Yes, thank you. Cheers.
That was a Freudian slip. I don't know.
Happy accidents are the best. I love it.
Yeah. So did you know, like, did you have ideas, like, grand ideas about, like, musically what your message was going to be, or
no,
you were still experimenting,
I still don't. I don't have a thing. Like, I think I'm just always shifting and changing and moving. Like, I just don't have, I could try to write something like a banging techno track, and then it's a fucking, like, I don't know, like, I don't know, it's nothing like it. Mm-hmm. But and, like, I don't know, I mean, you'll hear, I've got a record coming out. I just listened to these test presses yesterday. Actually, I put some of the samples on my stories if you want to listen to what it's like, because it's nothing like I've released before. I mean, I am using a 303, but it's like one of the tracks is like starts at 92 BPM, goes to 120, back down to 92, and it's like could be a banging house track in the middle, but it's like trip hop, it's lush, but like I don't know what genre this shit is. And then the title track is really like it's kind of like trip hoppy, but not. I don't know how to basically I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just writing what feels good.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt pressured for a certain kind of audience to release or make certain kind of music?
I haven't felt pressured because it's not going to be something I'm going to do.
No, or maybe like an audience that really likes the certain kind of trip hop sound that you were doing, that you feel like, oh, I really need to do this again or this again.
Yes, with Creep. I get people writing me about Creep pretty often. And I do want to write more Creep stuff with my bandmate Lauren Dillard at some point, or just more trip hop in general with her, or just whatever. Because it's like in my blood. I love trip hop ever since I was a teenager. I put a triplet delay on everything because of like dub and trip hop. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's like on whatever genre I'm making, it's getting a triplet delay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was years ago, I was a big acid jazz trip hop DJ, and got my record collection from that era is just. Well, who was your favorite artist from that scene?
I
like
mean,
DJ Shadow or
I mean, fuck yeah, I love DJ Shadow. It was like Portishead, Lamb, and Lou Rhodes from Lamb sang on our Creep record, and it was like a dream fucking come true for me. And it's one of my favorite songs on that record. And who else? Like Tricky's on the record.
Wow.
What was that like?
I mean,
did you meet him?
We did that long distance.
Yeah.
And that came about because of Brains. Do you guys know Brains, Maya Cole's manager?
Oh yeah, Stephen Brains. Yeah.
So he's also family, and
yeah, he's super. I love him.
Just the best. And he arranged that whole thing, and we did it just long distance. So. I get these things that I like even think about today, and I just like can't believe it. I have Tricky on a record. Like, what? Lou Rhodes.
I remember I met Tricky when Massive Attack were touring Blue Lines, and they came to DC and played at the Fifth Column. And Nick Warren was their opening DJ, was their tour DJ, and they just hung out backstage afterwards, and I met the whole band. It's pretty.
Tricky was living in LA for a bit. And he was dating one of our really good friends. Yeah. And I remember at the time, this was like in early 2000s. I had on Mondays, I was DJing at a sushi restaurant just for some extra cash. And he used to come in and hang out at the sushi restaurant. I'm like, holy shit, man. Tricky's sitting here listening to us play house records, man. This is incredible.
Was that the same sushi spot where one of the interfaces was at?
Yeah, Zen Sushi.
Yeah. I remember that, yeah.
They used to give me a free dinner for playing records there on a Monday and a little extra cash. I was like, dude.
I remember that interface party. It was with Tim Xavier.
Yeah. And Robin Porter.
God, Tim. I've known him.
Turbo Tim.
Tim from Berlin. Yeah. Right.
Tim in Berlin.
You also had Chico on the show, right? Or do you call her Hiroko?
Chico.
Yeah.
Boy, man, we were fucking insane. Like when I moved to Chicago, she was one of my best friends, and like Brian Franz, they would come back from Japan with like all these crazy weapons and like illegal shit that we would fucking use on each other. Like we would use the shit on each other. Like just wasted drunk. I don't know how we're alive. I really don't. Crazy. I mean, do you remember those things that you would stick on your body and it would like make your muscles? It would like shock your muscles.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, we have a light version. They came back from Japan with like, you will fucking be, your whole body will be convulsing. I remember we did that to one of our people. I mean, it's just like, God, man. I
How
love
long
Japan.
how long did you live in Chicago for?
For like 2.5 years.
2.5. What year was this? Like around what time?
99 till 2002.
Oh, wow.
Tim was also in Chicago at that time as well.
Yep.
That was before he moved to New York. Yeah.
I kept him from he almost got his ass beat. He tells this story. And there's little me, I'm 5'4". I don't know what happened. He got into a fight with somebody, not a physical altercation. I don't remember what it was, but he turned around and he punched a window of a car and broke the window.
Wow.
And then out comes from somewhere the guy that owns the car, and he's like a 6'2" big motherfucker, ready to beat the fuck out of Tim. And then there's little old me. I jump in the middle. I'm like, nope. And I just pull whatever money I had. It wasn't a lot. It was probably like $40. It was like, take this. Like, let's bring it down a notch. And I think to this day, Tim tells the story. He's like, he would have fucking had his face beaten so hard, and then just throw me in the mix, a little chihuahua. Like, you guys don't hurt each other.
Well, what was the cause of the whole ruckus?
I don't remember how he got into it. He was just angry at somebody, and then he punched the window out of a door, and then
Turbo Tim.
So, Lauren, Fisher Spooner, have to bring that up.
Yeah.
At what point in your career did this happen? And how did it happen? I also saw Fisher Spooner at Coachella, and it was fucking incredible. Like,
yeah, they're family. They're so fucking great. I got really lucky. I forget who suggested me. It was 2008. They were looking for a tour DJ. They wanted to do the whole DJ thing instead of performing live, because their live shows, you see them, they fucking cost a lot of money. A lot happens. There's a lot of people touring. It's a big production. So they want to be able to tour Fisher Spooner as a DJ set. But Warren...
Only two of them, right? Is it like the main...
Yeah, Warren Fisher and
Casey
Casey
Spooner is the singer, and
yeah, exactly. And Warren has like a pretty successful film company, so he's working constantly on his own business. So he couldn't really tour as a DJ, even though he DJs a little bit. So someone threw my hat in the ring to like meet up with Casey and kind of see if we vibed, to see if I'd be willing to go on the road. And this was like 2008. And I was definitely down because I quit working for Apple in 2007. I was like sharing a bedroom in a bunk bed. I was like, yes, let's do this. And then him and I met and just clicked. I mean, he's my fucking family, my big gay brother.
Now, touring DJ means were you playing the backing tracks during the performances, or? Basically we would be just DJing. Like it was like a work in progress. In the beginning, he was like bringing out all these outfits, and it was mostly just Casey standing with a microphone, either singing some shit or getting on the mic or just being gay and amazing, and me just playing tracks, like DJing the club. So it was totally improvised. There was no...
Yeah, there was no like set, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, there was this time that we played in San Francisco, the Love Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And we fucked up so bad. Mm-hmm. So this was like a huge, I think it was like a stadium, some shit. So we ended up taking like something to sleep on the plane the day before without thinking how strong it is.
Yeah.
And then the next day we're just like waking up and we start drinking champagne and tequila and we're just getting fucked up. And we're playing this show and it's super fun. It's crazy. And then the person playing after us, Casey like kneels down and he's like, it's Danger Mouse playing next, right? Danger Mouse? And I was like, yeah, totally. And so Casey gets the whole fucking stadium to chant Danger Mouse, Danger Mouse, okay? And so then all of a sudden our music comes down and everything gets quiet and we're like, what? We turn around. It's the fucking mouse head of Dead Mouse, not Danger Mouse.
Okay, so
he just fucking...
Dead Mouse, not Danger Mouse.
Yeah, Dead Mouse. So we basically snuck off that stage, just laughing our ass off. And we went to apologize to him the next day because we were supposed to go to the airport together, and he requested a separate ride.
Yeah. I think he would have done that regardless.
Yeah, I don't feel bad. I don't hear that
type
that's-
A. He's a type A.
Yeah, I know, yeah, that's the thing. I don't feel too guilty. I've heard stories about him, but I don't know. I thought it was fun. Sorry, Dead Mouse.
And did you make any original music with Casey?
You know, we
For your free project or for other things?
we need to collaborate. It just has never happened.
He's also a native New Yorker.
He is. He was transient for a while. Now he's in LA.
Mm.
I think he's just in LA now.
Mm.
Yeah.
And do you like LA?
I
Or
do
you-
like. I would go there. I would live there for like an amount of time per year.
Have you lived there?
What's that?
Have you lived there ever?
Mm-mm.
No.
When was
No.
that? You were in California recently, right?
Yeah, I just went for a couple days. I went my friend's 40th birthday, so we went to this place called Arcosanti in Phoenix, and then I went to Joshua Tree, and then I went to
Joshua
LA
Tree,
for a
that's
couple
what it
days.
was.
Yeah.
Because I was out there. I was in 29 Palms last week.
Oh
and
shit!
I went to Joshua Tree. I was just there for a couple days, the same, and just like I recorded a stream while I was out there.
I saw.
Take any
Let's go.
mushrooms?
No, I didn't do
What?
it. I just no. I know. I should have, but
Everybody else did.
You just wait. So your crew was taking mushrooms, but you opted
Yeah.
out.
I was
They-
just
Oh damn!
I know.
I stayed in a haunted motel in Joshua Tree before.
Oh,
David's
shit.
never been much of a psychedelic warrior. Have you been, David?
I mean, I enjoy them, but I'm not like
Psychedelic
I'm
warrior.
not like hardcore about them. You know, I'll do them every once in a while. Remember Mo when we were at Fortive Festival? I did some.
Oh yeah, we ate mushrooms that night, and
We were
that was-
walking around.
That was
the
heavy.
castle. We were like walking around. It was pretty intense.
That was heavy.
But yeah, it's not that I don't enjoy them. It's just I have to be in the mood, you know. And I know Joshua Tree is the perfect place to do it, but I don't know, just like I just wanted to chill out and drink beers. And I was just with two other people, and they were like on mushrooms, and they were having a great time. And
Sometimes you just need to tap into their energy while they're all, you know, and you feel it, and you get all giggly.
yeah, that's exactly. It was hilarious just watching them. Like you know, one of my I took all my gear to record the stream, and my friend was like playing an extended set. It was hilarious. I remember going to sleep and then waking up mid sleep, and he was still DJing in the living room, and he's laughing. And I was just hearing him laughing, and I'm like, "What is he laughing at?" He was the only one out there, mind you. He was the only one in the living room.
He was entertaining himself.
He was
I don't even
entertaining
need
himself.
mushrooms for that.
He was just laughing, and I was just like, "Oh man!" I just went back to sleep.
Love it.
I remember when I was out in Joshua Tree a few years ago, we got super high on chocolate mushrooms, me and my two buddies. And my friend discovers new music on SoundCloud, and I was just letting him kind of select the soundtrack to our evening.
Ah, that's the Traumprinz story.
The Traumprinz story, yeah. He
Remember that?
played Traumprinz. Only Love Can Set You Free, I think that's the name of the track.
Which is
And when it finished, I'm like, wait, that was an amazing song. Can you play it again? And the more I listened to it, the more amazing it became. And I think we listened to it like on a loop for like 3 hours.
Wow.
And then the next day when we were sober, I listened to it again and it was just as amazing. And I'm like, that's how you know you have an amazing song. You can, you know, feel moved by it when you're high and when you're sober. So
Have any of you
For anybody.
ever written music on psychedelics?
I've written a whole album on psychedelics.
But like
No, not me.
Lauren,
No.
Chris,
I-
can you?
I know a lot of producers who have to get high on certain things when they make music, but for me it's never worked.
Yeah,
Ever.
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
that
focus?
same place. I mean, I think I would like to. If I'm on psychedelics, though, I don't want to look at a screen.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like trying to focus and do stuff. I can't even with weed. Like,
But would hardware
I want
work?
to chill.
Would
Hardware-
hardware work?
Yeah, because you know I could use my like Keystep Pro and just not even just as my DAW and not even maybe look at the. Maybe I should try that. I haven't-
You know what I realized from I mean, it was more of a mission to see if it was actually possible to be creative and push forward being on psychedelics while making an album. And I noticed that the only times that we were ever productive is if somebody else was driving, somebody who was sober, like allowing you to be creative and express and just get whatever's out of your mind, but not have to be bogged down with the technical aspect of like, how do I copy and paste because I can't see the screen? You know, like somebody else driving and being able to do it for you was the only time that it was really, really productive.
But Mo, think about when we did the closing set at Berghain, where both of us were playing together and we were both off our faces. How did that? We couldn't see. I couldn't see my screen.
I don't really remember a lot of that time.
Yeah,
it just kind of happened, man.
Because we were both playing on laptops.
That's when you have to use the force because you can't see what's going on. So
But
you hear that little voice, use the force. You know
what was helpful about that was starting off sober, and then you're already in autopilot mode, and then like
maybe
you know, and then you go there, and then you're just already in autopilot mode as it is. So,
but just I remember looking at my screen and I just couldn't even see what tracks I was selecting.
Well, there's no way because your eyeballs were bouncing inside of your head back and forth.
That's what I mean. It's like, we were both on the same level. That's why I was like, how do we manage to play 10 hours like that?
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys played 10 hours at Berghain. Wow.
Yeah.
We did the closing. This was like what? How long ago was this now, Mo? 2015?
I don't know, man. We've done it a few times, long sets though, right?
Yeah, the first two times we got booked at Berghain were opening for like 6 or 7 hours opening.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lauren, do you
times.
like back-to-back sets? And who is your favorite back-to-back partner?
I do like back-to-back sets. I don't play them that often. I did one with Chambray at Good Room, and that was super fun. I feel like I think me and David should do one though.
Yeah. But I think musically for sure that would totally fit because like you sang with Chambray, totally like he's definitely that vibes.
That Jack and shit, you know.
And
I want to get back into like 2x4 sets. I remember, man, I liked doing those back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nerve wracking, but I kind of would want to. I don't know. It would be fun to do something that would really kind of push the envelope again.
You could do 4x8s with CDJs.
People are like, what the fuck is going on?
What's a 2x4 set?
Like two DJs, each playing their own, like
two turntable setups.
So
each.
four turntables and two mixers.
Yeah.
And you're just playing together the whole time.
How do you play now? Do you play vinyl or USB?
I stopped playing vinyl. I'm just on the CDJs now, and it feels like I don't want to go back to vinyl because I really like my cue points and loops, and like I play those short fucking booty tracks that are 2 minutes long that I need it to loop at the end, you know, like.
Yeah, but no one's going to take you seriously if you don't play vinyl. So
yeah, you know, whatever. 15 years is enough, okay?
Yeah. Dues paid, right? Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What is your? I mean, you know, the whole vinyl versus digital kind of DJing rears its head. I'm not going to say ugly head, but rears its head, you know, throughout some of the shows that we do. Like, what are your thoughts on that argument? Like, you know, do you feel like people take you more seriously as an artist, as a DJ, if you can honestly to them that you're playing a vinyl record and
like, look, I've got vinyl going on this turntable now. Like, no, I don't give a shit.
I don't think it matters anymore.
Don't give a shit. Like, you could think whatever the fuck you want. Like, I dedicate my life to this shit. What the fuck? I don't have to prove anything to you. Cheers. Yes. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, like as I say, the same with producing. In the end, it's what comes out the speakers. It doesn't matter what you're using. You could be on a laptop with VSTs and you can make the most amazing track and no one's going to care. People are just going to be like, this is amazing. They're not, you know, only the nerds are going to be like, oh yeah, she or she did it just on a fucking laptop.
I can hear a difference, dude.
Yeah.
It sounds better. Vinyl sounds better. I hear it.
No, you can't. You're in a club, you're dancing, you're enjoying the music, or even listening to music on your headphones. No one's sitting there. Well, not no one, but most people are not sitting there going, oh, this doesn't sound like it was made on an SSL. You know, it's like, come on.
I remember there was a period of time when everybody would make fun of any producers who used Fruity Loops or FL Studio. And I remember back in the days, David made all of his tracks in that. And I remember like telling
back in the days, Fruity Loops.
Yeah, I would tell him, well, you know, Truncate uses FL Studio, and they'd be like, "No way, that's not possible. It doesn't sound like it, man." It's like you can't really tell the difference at the end of the day.
Didn't like Burial make all like that first album that you know, is such a landmark album. He made the whole thing on Fruity Loops or Acid.
He mostly used Peak and edited stuff together.
Wow. Okay.
That's where all the different kind of rhythms come together too, because with Peak nothing was quantized and it was just put up and put together.
Back in the day, even Deadmau5 was a heavy Fruity Loops user, and he became like huge. So what does that tell you? It doesn't matter, you know.
I did my Latigra remix in Fruity Loops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have Fruity Loops to open old sessions to take loops out and stuff, that just from like hundreds of sessions that I've started like years ago. I still have sessions that open, even some stuff that I've done with Mo like back in like 2005. They still open on my computer. Maybe some sounds are missing, but it's hilarious to listen to sometimes.
Lauren, have you been able to stay inspired musically during this unfortunate situation we find ourselves in?
No, I didn't write a single start to finish song in 2020, and that is insane. But, you know, and David and I have talked about this before, it's just like, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to just force this shit. It was going to come back eventually if I just honor the process. And I'm fucking writing again now. Like I'm feeling good, and it feels good. And it's just like, I'm trying to just remember to honor the process in these four walls, like even while I'm writing, instead of thinking about labels and this and that, just like actually honoring the process and like enjoying writing the music for me first.
Certainly.
And then in a few months down the road, then I can start thinking about that shit.
Yeah.
So right now, I feel like I'm in a really like good place. It's just like, so yeah, I'm writing again.
Are you writing more?
Honoring the process, you know, I like that.
Yeah.
Are you writing more dance music stuff, or are you doing completely different?
It's kind of like what this EP is like, which is, like I said, it's kind of hard to explain. It is like 120 or 140, but it's not something you're going to hear in the club. And then I just did write a jack track a couple days ago that's more like, it's not as like hard or angry. So I sent it to DJ Heather for some like awesome talkie vocals. But yeah, I mean, like, I want to write some banging shit too. I just, whatever's going to come out is going to come out.
Yeah.
Don't force it. Just let it flow.
Exactly.
Because you've been doing, I mean, you've been busy doing some streams through last year. I
tried not to do too many, you know.
But did that give you any inspiration to write more kind of dance tracks? Because I've tuned into some of your streams, and like you definitely play the clubby jack and cuts, and like, does that inspire you at all, or did it help at all?
It helped for my own like means of channeling a lot of anger. So a lot of people were doing their live streams, and it was amazing. It was beautiful. It was like deep, but I was like fucking mad, like for most of the year. So I was not going to be nice just because this is a stream, and I don't care if this is at 4 p.m.
You did a long stream, right? What was the long one that you did?
I did a 9-hour one.
In
my living room for Bunker.
Yeah.
That was the one.
What were you? I mean, I guess there was a lot to be angry about last year. But what were you primarily angry about that fueled the music or fueled the streams that you were doing?
Trump, white supremacy, you know, George Floyd. I mean, just like I just felt very small. I felt very small last year in terms of music. I was like, this is not going to nourish me this year. I need to be outside. I need to be with my people. I need to be fighting. I need to be doing this, and I need to be doing, and I did it. And I did that. And so,
I don't even know how much of this really applies to the EU as much, but I've noticed that common feeling amongst many of our colleagues in the US is that there is a great underlying sense of anger and frustration and being let down this year completely. And I've always been kind of curious how that was going to influence the music that comes out when things open up again. I mean, have you been able to channel any of that stuff into music production at all, whether you finished it or not? I mean, using that in a productive way.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, what's coming out now feels almost like there's some hope. Like we're on the other side of some shit, I feel like, even though I think we're going to be fighting white supremacy for the next decade. I'm not so shocked and shaken to my core like I was last year, that I feel like last year really tested me as a human being. And like
Absolutely.
this year, yeah, and I think it tested all of us. And like I figured out I like who I am. And so like I don't know if that's what's coming through, but it's like it's definitely like when I wrote my bunker record, I have a track called One Man's House is Another Woman's Techno. And that's like the hardest track I've ever written. And that was right around when Trump won. Like that's like the angry shit that needed to come out. Now it feels different. Like I feel like stronger and I'm ready to fight, but like I'm not so like reactionary now. Like I fucking got this. You know?
And being in New York and like even in California, that's like way more left states. And like, does it feel like there was a weight lifted off, that Trump lost and Biden won?
Man,
you can definitely feel it out here for sure.
It was, yeah. I was in Dubai, just glued to the TV, like.
What was the energy like in Dubai for that? Did they care or?
I mean, I was kind of just staying with a friend, and he's Scottish, so but everybody. I mean, pretty much everybody in my circle of friends was praying for this guy not to get a second term. So
it was scary.
I predicted
but it was scary.
Right?
I don't know what's scary is like it got that close. And what does that say about this country? Is this country that divided? It seems that it is.
I think there's a lot of people that voted for their own interests. They might not necessarily support Trump, but there's a lot of people that voted their own interest in their wallet. But also, it's just kind of like you got a man who won in 2016 and he lost by 3 million votes and he got 306 electorate votes, right? Then you have Biden who won by 7 million and he also got 306 electorates. This shit is fucking broken.
And additionally, if 70,000 people would have voted differently in this election, even though he would have won by almost 7 million, the popular vote, Trump would have won because of your fucking stupid electoral college system.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's not only that; it's also these that your senators represent landmass instead of people. I think that's insane. It's just these are the two biggest problems you have in your country. I think that's why that held your country back in the progression over the past 15, 20, 30 years, I think.
It's fucking insane. It's insane. And it's all Mitch McConnell. He's just ruined us. So, but I think the Democrats are finally ready to start playing dirty because we've always played nice. But no,
are you surprised that they're a little bit more liberal actually than we all expected so far in the first 20 days? Or where are we? No, first 8 days. Where are we?
Yeah,
and
I know.
It's already like Paris Climate Agreement is in, and the North Dakota pipeline is history.
Transgenders allowed in the military again.
Yep.
All government vehicles will be electric.
The press conferences are normal. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. Yeah, I think there's been a collective sigh with.
Yeah.
It seems quiet, like on the news front, as far as like the craziness with Trump. Now it feels like it's like, I don't know. To me, it feels like it's like politics again, rather than just this fucking circus.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Did you watch the White House press briefing? It was actually just informative.
Yeah, totally. It's like what? That's nice.
It's so weird. It feels so weird now.
And she's so nice to the reporters, like
talking.
No one's shushing
sentences.
People and like, oh man, it is definitely a sigh of relief.
I mean, I've had friends and collaborators over the years who thrive in chaotic environments and really like trying to create division and animosity. And they really like. There's people that's their MO. They just feel better about everything when they're creating that kind of tension in the room and with others. And that's what Trump was like.
Yeah.
He got up every day.
It's a little scary to see that the most powerful country in the world can basically elect someone like this. It's like that system is massively broken.
Everyone's obsessed with celebrity. It begins with the obsession with celebrity culture. I mean,
I know, but yet he never won the majority vote.
But you have to also understand, this is also we've defunded education for decades. This is a product of poor education.
Yeah.
And we aren't going to bounce back from this overnight. We have to start funding education again. And in 2 decades, maybe we'll start seeing it. But like,
totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. It begins with education. Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That's the root of it all, actually.
Yeah. I mean, there is no racism if you're an educated or knowledgeable person. And sure, you can be a fucking Harvard grad and be racist, but you're also an idiot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just sad that it's still such a it's a normal thing out here. Considering the U.S. is such a huge melting pot now, and you just see just racism so blatant and out there, like it's normal, and some people don't even realize it, and you're just like, damn, that's kind of fucked up.
I'm just like, it makes me so fucking mad at white people. I'm just like so angry and critical of all white people, including myself. It's just.
Why yourself?
I mean, I think every single white person has some form of racism that's learned. I don't think it's ever, it might not.
Do you think it's only white people though?
Yeah, I mean, white people invented racism.
Because being that I come from a cultural background myself throughout my life, I've seen people who are not white be racist constantly.
Yeah, I mean, you can hate on other races, I believe, but I think that with white people, it's been such a systemic oppression over centuries and centuries.
Sure.
And like what we're witnessing is systemic. And I think that's why, especially, I'm sure every race can have racism, but unfortunately, every single white person has to re-examine thought patterns that they might have had. And I really do think it's a scale. Someone like me admitting like, oh, that was a racist thought. There's racism. It was learned. I had to unlearn that.
But you recognize it.
I got to recognize it, right?
Yeah.
And then you have people that are fucking boomers that are fucking racist as fuck who say they're not racist at all.
Sure.
And that's like, you have to somehow, there's like a scale of racism. And I just think if white people could all just collectively just take a second and re-examine some of these thought patterns, then that's the only way to really end, white supremacy, is to just examine yourself.
Yeah.
Tough.
You can tell Chris is high.
I totally agree. I remember I did a Black Lives Matter stream actually dedicated, and I was always streaming videos behind me, and I on the day I was sitting there collecting the videos, I took footage from Soul Train, black artists here, black artists featuring there, and while I was doing this, I was sitting there thinking to myself like, that's all. It somehow feels weird that I do this. It's like it's really hard to explain. It somehow feels like they don't need my help. It's like, what am I trying to prove here? I felt really stupid doing this in this moment, but yet at the same time, I felt like I need to do it. I need to put the message out there, and that is exactly what you mean. It's the conflict that you have as a white person within, and it's for generations. That's not put away within one generation, really.
I guess
be aware of it.
I guess I've always just been curious because, I mean, even just being a person of color walking through the streets of China, you are going to get racism from people there. And growing up, the largest majority of my life in my youth, I mean, not the majority of it, but a large portion of it in Mexico, even racism exists there. And how Mexican people view white people or black people or anything else. Of course, this isn't widespread amongst everybody, but there are pockets of that. No matter where you go in the world, no matter what culture, there's an opposing view towards people who are of different skin tones or different cultural backgrounds. So I don't know. That's always just kind of made me wonder, is this just a white person problem?
No, you have that quite a bit.
Or is this a human problem? Yeah, of course. In Japan too. Yeah. I mean, I went to Japan once and I tried to walk into a club and the bouncer there was super nice to me, but he told me that I couldn't come in. And then I remember my friend asked him in Japanese, why can't my friend come in? And he did this, which basically meant my skin color. Like, no,
Mhm.
you can't commit. So I mean, these things agree everywhere. I mean, they happen everywhere.
It's more.
I'm not saying they don't. I guess I'm just
Yeah.
thinking in terms of like what's happening in this country right now, and how it,
Sure.
this is what we're fighting right now.
Sure.
And I guess I'm just hypercritical when I see the Capitol get stormed and get their handheld walking down the stairs by the end, by the
Yeah.
Capitol Police, and just thinking to myself, this is insane.
Yeah,
Imagine these rioters would have been black; they would be all dead
They'd
by
be
now.
fucking dead.
Yeah.
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 It makes you angry when you really think about it. Like,
I mean, it makes me. I
hypocrisy, right?
livid.
had to do a Paxahow chat the next day, and I was out of my mind. I didn't even realize how much January 6th affected me. And
Yeah.
I was just fucking. When I finished, like, I was like, I think I seemed like a fucking mad woman. I don't know if I even made any sense. But I'm just so fucking I don't know. It's just the white supremacy fully on display was just.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the
Ali, how's the vibe in DC since you've been back? Have you felt a little bit different of what's going on?
I
haven't really had time to absorb being back. It just feels weird being back. It feels
where you are right now, is that sort of in the center?
I honestly feel like the very beginning of the pandemic when I
right. Yeah, but are you sort of near the center, or where are you in DC right now?
I'm like 10 minutes outside of.
Okay.
I can drive to the White House in 10 minutes.
All right.
That's
Ali, it's
close.
just us
That's
now.
pretty interesting.
Did that feel weird, Chris? That it was just us?
It's just us. It felt so intimate
Here, let's
and
make
romantic.
it happen again.
What are we going to talk about?
Go away. Oh, David, now you got to come and disturb us.
I was
shit.
actually, Chris, right before I came to jump on the show, I was dropping off something for a friend's brother who I've also met before, and he owns an ice cream place. I'm not going to say which, but he gave me some. He gave me these they're like these balls of chocolate that have a liquid center, and when you pour hot milk or hot water, it kind of it all dissolves, and you can do a hot chocolate or whatever, Bailey's or whatever. And so he's experimenting. Obviously, it's not for sale, but he gave me some. There's some THC.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
send them to me. Send them over here.
yeah, I'm gonna. I should have done that on the show.
Wait, is THC legal now in DC?
I don't know. Who cares? It should
Kyle?
be. It should be.
Where is he?
I think it is.
Where's your tour manager? It's gone.
He's
He
not,
maybe
he's
knows.
He's not a pothead.
Okay.
He would know.
I thought weed was legal in DC.
You know what? I don't know anymore. It's so.
Can anybody comment on that?
So
Yeah.
I don't know did you guys hear about this Delta 8 THC stuff?
No.
Apparently it's a strain of THC where they've removed the psychoactive molecules from it, and it's currently legal throughout the entire United States. And people are buying it because if you mostly it comes in a vape pen because it's processed. But people still say if you smoke it, you still get high as shit. Whether or not they've removed
Why
the
would you want to remove
psychoactive
the
part.
psychoactive?
Because there's a lot of cancer patients that don't like the paranoia feeling, and they need the certain benefits of marijuana, like for instance, pain relief or to stimulate hunger or something like that. But they don't like the actual feeling of like being high and tripping out, especially if you're not, if you don't have any kind of tolerance built to smoking weed. I mean, anybody who's ever smoked weed once knows how easily it is to just get super high and trip out. So they've removed the psychoactive part of it, but it still gets you incredibly high. And
Isn't that what CBD is?
no, this is completely different because CBD doesn't have any THC at all, but this is still THC, just removing one particular molecule that makes it Delta 8.
Huh.
And it's getting really popular, and you can buy it pretty much anywhere in the US and order it and they'll deliver it to you.
So that's like a kind of like a loophole of weed being legal in the whole United States.
Exactly.
Interesting. I never heard that.
Apparently, they're going to try to make it illegal as well. They just need to classify it at first. But currently, right now, it's like you can pretty much get it anywhere you are.
You said it's called Delta 8?
Delta 8, yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I like the name. So, Lauren, how do you, and the other question is, I often ask the guests, like, how do you feel about releasing dance music right now when we don't have, obviously, the venues open really globally, where we can play this music, where it can have an effect? Are you holding music back, the dance music that you're making?
I ended up holding music back because the label wasn't going to press vinyl last year because of it. And now, and they asked me if I wanted to release digitally, and I was like, no, I want to wait.
Vinyl production now is like 5 months or something, 4 to 5 months before you can see, which is insane when you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I just got a test press yesterday, so I'm like looking like an April release of something that was supposed to come out spring last year.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that because I couldn't, like I said, I just felt small in this last year. Like I couldn't think about promoting myself. I already struggled promoting myself. So it just felt weird for me to do. So for me, I just was okay to just wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you don't like releasing stuff that doesn't come out on vinyl?
Oh no, I will, of course.
Oh.
But this was already planned for a vinyl release. We shot the cover, the artwork was all done. I was really excited about it, and I just didn't want to release it as just a digital.
Is it a bunk on the Bunker?
No, it's on 2MR, Mike Simonetti's label.
Oh, okay, nice.
So it's it's an electronic label, but it's more aimed towards like it's not a dance record. Like there's an ambient song on there, and there's like the acid track that's like super slow and then fast and slow. It's just.
Have you ever had the idea of doing your own label to release your own music?
I mean, my band, we have a label called Creep International, but like just to release our record. I would do
stuff.
What's that?
For like Lauren Flax tracks, like just like the clubby stuff, or
maybe down the line. I feel like I would do it if I became a more known name, then I would be able to just kind of parlay that into a label. But I just don't want to right now. I just want to release on friends labels that are like, I definitely want to do something with you, obviously, David, and so any of you guys. I mean, Jesus Christ, So, but I have to finish something for Super Rhythm Tracks that I was supposed to finish last year, and I just couldn't write. So these are the things on my mind. I want to release on labels I'm excited about.
How do you keep updated with the music over the past month? Are you forcing yourself to listen to loads of promos, or are you just saying like, no, whatever? I
have 400 fucking emails. I mean, it's just like, I basically last year with the not being able to write, I was numb. I was just numb. Like if I listened to something,
not even able to listen to music.
Nothing would get through. It could have been a great track. So I basically just put everything on hold. Now I'm going to start cycling through because I'm starting to like feel again. So
it's difficult to be creative when you're emotionally compromised.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm not going to fight it anymore. Like I used to fight it. I used to force myself to write, but you're swimming upstream.
Well, you're not alone. I also kind of did quite a bit of shutting down myself this year as well in terms of finishing things,
Yeah. I mean,
it's been rough.
I think that's the normal kind of body response. Like if shit's fucked up, like we can't operate as usual.
But isn't it also the case that some artists actually do need terrible times in order to be creative because that is their way to escape?
I think if you're writing folk songs or something.
Country music.
Country.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you on that, Chris. I do. I think it also takes time to process. And like when you've been hit so hard, like with the blunt force of things, I think getting through the thick of it is the most difficult time. And then once you've managed to process it, then you can actually kind of vent it creatively through some sort of art form.
Like Phil Collins with "I Don't Care Anymore" and things like this. He wrote that stuff after his separation from his wife. It's like going through tough times, living alone in the basement somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's I don't think I could do that. I need to have some sort of harmony around me, and everything needs to be nice and fine.
Yeah, like last year, and like what Lauren was saying is like you don't want to force it. And I feel like last year when we were getting the beginning of the pandemic, like, and I was kind of trying to force myself to write music. Then after a while, it just took me to realize where I was just like, you know what? When the inspiration comes, I'll jump on it. And it came in waves, you know. There'd be some days where I'm just like, I can write a couple of tracks or get some really good ideas going. Then other times, just like weeks of nothing. I'll sit in the studio. I mean, I still come in the studio every day. I'll still sit here every day. I'll turn the computer on. And I'm just like, if I feel like something could happen or some inspiration, I'll try to do something, but I also don't force it.
There's a great book from David Lynch. It almost reads like a children's book. I think it's called Catching Fish. And it talks about the creative process and how he sees it. And it's a really inspiring book to read for anyone that is experiencing like some sort of a, for lack of a better word, like a writer's block or something. Or someone who's trying to tap into creativity and kind of set the stage to be able to grab inspiration when it happens, and putting yourself like you saying that, you go to the studio every day. You have to first put yourself in a situation where inspiration and creativity can happen. And then you have to create a situation that you can quickly grab those moments, when those fleeting moments when they happen,
Yeah. And that's why I come in here every day, because maybe that moment will happen and I'm like, okay, bam, I'll turn something on and start playing around. But most of the time, recently I've just nothing has been happening at all.
Yeah,
Catching the Big Fish is the book, right?
Catching the Big Fish. Yeah. And I think
is it blue, and is it a square book? It's not that big.
Yeah, it's like you can read it in like half an hour or something.
I have that book. I'm gonna read it again.
Yeah, it's such a good book. And I think Stephen King, somebody asked him years ago, this quote stuck with me. I don't remember exactly what he said about it, but somebody asked him like, how do you become a great writer? And he's just like, you have to write. So like you get up in the morning, you sit down and you write all day, and you do it every day, and eventually you'll create a masterpiece. Yeah.
I think music has always been a cathartic thing for me. I mean, the largest majority of my music has been a little bit more on the darker sides of things, because I think it's not that I'm always constantly a darker person, but I think that's where I've been managed to vent that portion of my emotions.
Tortured soul.
No, not at all. I mean, for the majority of the time, I'm usually pretty lighthearted and happy, but for whatever reason, music has always been the best way for me avenue for me to vent out anger and negative feelings.
Yeah, but I always think that darker music always contains a way more level of depth than happy music can ever have.
Yes,
certainly.
Yeah. I totally agree. Minor chord realness.
Oh yeah.
I think. Yeah, I mean, but like I find beauty in melancholy. Like I love.
But that's what I mean. There's so much depth in melancholy.
Yeah, I think there's dark and then there's sad, and I think in both styles you can find slivers of hope.
Oh, absolutely. There's dark, sad, everything on that side, and there's only one thing, happy, on the other side. Yeah, which is fine. It's good. It has its.
And you have a song like "Party All the Time."
That's straight happy.
Bam.
Here's to that.
That's where I draw the line, man.
Well, we found out where Mo draws the line. Lauren, what song do you draw the line at? To take us right back to the beginning.
Oh God! I don't know. Now I'm on the spot. I won't be able to.
Sandstorm.
Oh my goodness! Would you play Sandstorm?
Meet her at the Love Parade.
Meet her at the Love Parade. Yeah, I just wanted to ask that. You don't know what we're talking about, which is great, because I wish I would know that stuff, that music. What were your early inspirations? What were your like early bands that you were into? Like, what's the music? Because you started out as a drummer and you learned the guitar.
Hiroko is really into the Wax Trax stuff, so I share the same love of that era.
Yeah,
but was there also like some sort of independent band or anything like that coming from? Because we were talking about darker stuff like The Cure or something like.
Do you like the Stooges and coming from Detroit and
Sunny Day Real Estate?
Yeah. Yeah, like
Throwing it
Nitzer
around here.
Up, Front 242, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But like Ministry, but then I was also into No Doubt and Garbage and
Yeah.
you know, Sarah McLachlan. I will always love Sarah McLachlan. I'm sorry, like fight me.
It was a topic of ours in a recent discussion, wasn't it?
Yeah. We were talking with Kevin from Skinny Puppy and
Yeah.
sorry. But
Oh my god, wait.
that one album was amazing.
Didn't she do a song with him?
Yeah.
She did a song with Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails.
All right.
But then
Sarah
she
McLachlan
also
did.
did like this industrial song. Like
I don't know about that one. I know that her and Trent Reznor collaborated on a song. I don't remember what it was for.
I'm gonna have to find it and I'll send it to David to send to all of you guys because you're gonna fucking you'll shit yourself. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like I guess they were on the same label. I don't remember what band it was.
Network was the label.
Okay. Yeah, and they became friends and just did this. It's I can't think.
And did you have any drummer heroes?
No, I didn't actually. I don't think I did.
John Bono.
I was really into Fleetwood Mac, and Lindsey Buckingham was one of my favorite guitar players. You know, I really loved him.
Did you have to be forced to play the drums? I'm sorry, I'm sticking to that drum idea, but I have two daughters, and the 11-year-old daughter, I'm basically on her case since 2 years to learn the drums. She has an electronic drum kit. And I have to force her a lot, but I know I'm right. I know she's going to be happy.
You know you're right.
I know I'm right.
She's going to be happy at one point that I just did.
Chris, what if you're wrong?
I don't know. I played a little bit the drums now, also starting to learn a little bit more with her. And I know if I came across a drum set when I probably was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, I probably would have stuck behind that thing. I just. Wow, it's so good. I find so much love for drums, but obviously I'm in an age where you can't properly learn this anymore.
Yeah,
So
you said you started at what, grade 5? Huh?
5th grade, and then I asked my parents to get me a drum kit in the 8th grade. And I was also like a sports nut when I was growing up. I played basketball my whole life, and they were just like, "Okay, we'll get you a drum kit, but you have to join band instead of playing sports."
Did you play in the marching band?
What's that?
Did you play in the marching band?
I didn't. I didn't want to quit sports, so they manipulate. They knew I wasn't going to do that, so then I didn't get a drum kit and I didn't play as much, and
I was a band geek.
Yeah, no, that's great.
I was in the drum line.
You were in the drum line?
Yeah.
You gotta. We're gonna need to see some photographic evidence.
Oh, there are some. There are out there. They're terrible.
I also want to see everyone's rave pics.
Oh,
rave pics.
The thing is, like, that's one thing I didn't do. Like, I didn't take photos when I went to parties. I never had a camera.
There was always that one friend, though, that had a camera, and then they would get like 4 copies of each made, when they were
like a lot of those people I don't even keep in touch with anymore.
Oh, yeah. Guys.
I definitely have some rave pics, that's for sure. What's funny is when Adam Bayer came out to the US for the first time, I think he played at this rave in LA called
Yes.
It was in 1998. And I don't think anybody at this party knew who he was. And I remember that we went because we were fans of the really early Drum Code records. And after Adam played, we took a picture with him, and he took a picture of us with his camera. And I met him several years later, like within the last 5 or 6 years, I would imagine. And he was like, dude, I have a picture of you from 1998 on my wall in my house from my first trip to the US. And it was so trippy that he actually remembered that. You dressed like a total raver, like a young raver on Adam Bayer's wall in his house.
I love it. Oh.
Were you like one of the candy ravers back in the days, Lauren?
Oh, no. But I do remember, I didn't have like the crazy fat pants, but I do remember wearing fat pants to the point where you couldn't see my shoes. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, I never want anyone to see my shoes ever again. Like so scared.
Were they Jinkos though? Were they Jinkos?
Jinkos, yeah. I had some Jinkos. I think I actually have one very available of me in Jinkos that I can show you. And I'm very rolling.
I remember like always
no
going to
shame.
Europe and
That's me in the Janko blue.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Camo.
A little cuddle puddle.
An e-puddle.
Yep.
Like we talked about this briefly before the show. It's like I don't know if this was a thing in the Midwest or anywhere else in the US, but like I remember in LA specifically in the early 2000s, the dance floor like in the front would just be full of cuddle puddles and just ravers on the dance. And like you couldn't even get close to the DJ because everyone would just be on the floor in the front of the dance floor and just like rolling and like hugging each other,
massaging each other.
That was the most annoying. For me, it was the most annoying thing because I was like, dude, I want to be able to move around, man. Can't be watching my step everywhere and just like
the days of one entertainment.
Is that a thing in like the Midwest or anywhere else, or was that?
I don't remember, but that could have been me in that cuddle puddle. So who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Chris, were there cuddle puddles in Frankfurt?
Oh, we didn't have
the
that.
Omen.
No, we didn't.
No cuddle puddles.
We didn't have that.
No.
That wasn't.
It was like happening. I feel like in Europe it was always like serious like raving.
Raving was so different in America.
It's so different. When I first came over in the end of the 90s to LA to play these raves with One Entertainment, and I literally like saw Candy Ravers. I was like, what is what? This somebody's lost a bet here or something. And then there's another one and another one, and you're like, whoa, this is a whole different approach. Yeah. Kind of a very sweet approach, very innocent somehow. I don't know.
Most of them were most ravers are super kind, really nice,
super nice people.
But just the clothing and all that stuff, I never really got into that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's part of the cuddle thing, right?
I didn't get into the candy rave thing, but we definitely dressed like ravers, like wearing vintage Astros baseball T-shirts and like
baggy pants and glow sticks.
Not the glow sticks. I didn't do the glow sticks, but
light shows. You want to give your friend a light show?
But it was definitely this kind of futuristic retro kind of vibe to it that this was pre-candy rave for sure. But
did you wear diapers?
No diapers, man. That's for sure.
The same vibe that Dr. Free Clouds kind of still has.
Exactly. Speaking of diapers.
Oh no.
What's the diaper story?
I think you were hoping we would.
I thought we were gonna maybe get out of it. I'm like, okay, it's 5. It's 5. I don't know. It's 5:01.
Yeah.
You said it wasn't that bad.
We do like, yeah.
Let's hear it. This is our going out.
It's 11:02.
I don't know if I can give all the details. But
is it a feel good story?
Yeah, it's just a stupid raver, like really dumb.
Great. I'll lean back.
Perfect.
Okay, so this was like the Saturday before Christmas, and I remember this because this turned into a Christmas tradition. Okay, it's called a diaper. Okay. Oh my God.
Go on.
Okay, let me just set the mood. Like, okay, it was a Saturday night. In Detroit, you can't buy booze until noon on a Sunday afternoon. Okay, so you go to the rave, then you'd be up all night, partying, and then it'd be like 10 a.m. and you'd be like, we don't have beer, we have to wait 2 hours to get beer, blah, blah, blah. So that was usually what would happen if we didn't prepare ourselves for Sunday. So as it approached noon, someone suggested, as we were all cracked out, there was maybe 15 of us, and I don't remember who it was. I don't think it was me. Maybe it was me. I don't know. But somebody was like, okay, let's get all the beer, and no one's allowed to use the bathroom. We have to just drink all the beer, and you have to wear your diapers.
Oh my God.
Wear a diaper. Okay. I'm not going to say who went through with the situation, but everyone there put one on, drank beers. And I will say there was at least one person who was able to do it. And I will say that there is a strip in the crotch of a diaper for an adult that is yellow. And when you pee, it turns green. So this was something
right away. Yeah.
Wait, so after, did everyone have to come show their diapers?
No. Oh. No. But I will say this: it ended up becoming a tradition, and it happened for like the next 6 years.
That's great.
Ah, okay.
I ended up leaving Detroit. Did do it the next year
because of this.
What's that?
Oh, it's okay.
Sorry, I missed it. So that is the infamous, really throwing myself under the bus diaper party from teenage years. This is probably like 1997.
Oh man, that's great.
Sounds like a fun thing to kind of revitalize during this shutdown. You know?
Hey, you know what? Check your ego at the door. Put on a diaper, man.
Hey, when the shows come back, the outdoor parties in New York, you got to bring the diaper thing back.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I always have to pee during my sets, so maybe if there's some sort of technology there, I wouldn't be opposed.
Amazing.
Wear the diaper.
Don't fucking judge me for that story, y'all.
No, not at all.
Oh no, there's no judgment.
No judgment.
There were some now famous DJs there, but I will not throw them under the bus.
Is it Derek?
I'm sure Seth Troxler was there. Sounds like something he would.
He would do it. Maybe he was at one of them, but he was not at the ones I was at.
Somebody just put in the comment section DJs and diapers.
So sorry. We were so dumb. No regrets. Whatever.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
exactly. No regrets.
No regrets.
Here's to that.
No
No
regrets.
regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Well,
Are we really ending it on that note?
On the diaper notes?
Yeah.
Apparently.
That was a funny story to end on, don't you think?
I think it's a good ending.
Oh my
Lauren,
god.
Lauren,
I don't know. Let's go.
yeah, I think it's telling everyone to always stay connected to their inner child.
Yes. There we go.
The moral of the story is
I hate to tell you
Don't
this, but
take
we
it
probably,
yourself so serious.
yes, exactly. And number two, what? Sorry. I needed to
No
say
pun
that.
intended.
We're probably going to go out of this life in a diaper. So,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, don't be all high and mighty because I did it when I was an adult teenager.
yeah. There's definitely diapers in most of our futures. So
What a great.
Lauren, do you have anything you want to plug? Anything coming up? Any live streams or new music that's coming out?
I'm doing a mix for Tom Ravenscroft for BBC Six, February 10th. That's going to come out. So if anybody watching wants to send me music, just hit me on the Instagram. I definitely try to showcase people, up and coming producers on my Rinse show. You can always just hit me up on Instagram. I'll check the folders and I'll send my contact info. And the email might actually be on there. You can just send me stuff.
Awesome.
Who's that?
Hello, Ezra.
Oh, it's Ezra.
hey, hi, buddy.
I don't want Taiwan because
Yep.
He's not feeling social.
I don't want to.
Just yeah.
Most kids.
Yeah, so that, and I just have something coming out on 2MR in the spring, like this kind of ethereal record. And then other than that, I'm just getting by one day at a time.
He did that
That's
great
awesome.
mix for David's record, which
Yeah, really last year.
One of my
That was,
few
like, killer.
accomplishments
Yeah.
last year.
Thank you.
that was very, very good.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. I had a lot of fun doing that one.
And I'm waiting for when you're ready to do the work tracks EP.
Yeah, for sure.
It's there, so no rush, you know. So, cheers. Thanks.
Everyone, this is how the deals are done out
Flax
there.
it EP. There you go.
Flax
Looking-
that ass.
Flax that ass.
Blacks that acid.
Flax it.
Nah, she's saving that for a special one. That's
Black-
Lauren, it was a pleasure to meet you. I hope to meet you in person.
Lauren, same here.
yeah, cheers.
It's
Thanks.
been a pleasure.
All
Yeah,
right.
it'd be fun to hang out and party
Nice.
sometime when this is all over.
Yeah. I
Like
would
the
love
party.
We'll do a DJs and beers and diapers, and we'll
that.
have.
Oh, no diapers. Let's just forget I told that story.
That's it. It's in the world now. It's there.
Oh,
They can replay it all the time.
yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I have no shame.
That's
Yeah, no
good.
regrets. That's the
No
theme of the
regrets.
show. No regrets.
The 90s.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Stay healthy.
Thanks, everyone. See you
We're back next week, right?
next
Yeah,
week.
thanks,
Who's our guest next week?
Oh, it's is it Movement? Chuck.
Oh yeah, Chuck and Jason on the show.
Jason. Yeah,
Oh, what?
What?
Send those guys my love.
We will.
we will. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Take
Thanks,
care.
everyone.
All
Stay
right.
safe.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for being with us.
All right. Take care, guys.
Go to the beach.
Are we offline yet?
Am I leaving? I don't know.
I don't know. I guess so. I guess we'll just hop off and come back, I guess. Hey, we'll just start our own show. Fuck them. It's just us.
Fuck them.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man. Cheers.